Welcome on in, everybody. How's everyone doing? There's Christina. How are you, Christina?
Hello. Hi. Sorry, I'm running late.
No worries. Apparently, Jacob is as well. Jacob will be joining us here at some point this evening. Not entirely sure when, but Josh and Jane over in the chat. Thank you guys for already being here. We do appreciate that. Yeah, I was trying to buy a little bit of time. So
I
for those of
appreciate
you
it.
yeah.
Homework crunch.
Always fun. So you may not know this. I know our chat doesn't know this, but when we schedule it to go live, it basically gives us a window saying we can go. It gives us like a 5 to 10 minute window in which we can go live. If we don't go live, we then have to reschedule it to do it. So I was
Okay,
trying
good
to
to
wait.
know.
Yeah, I was trying to wait and give you guys a chance to hop in before we went on here. Because I could sit here and talk to myself for 5-10 minutes, but I'd rather not. So, I don't know if you listened to our World Cup episodes that we did back in 2022.
I do remember listening to maybe not all of them, but at least some of them for sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very awkward thing to try to talk to yourself for 15, 20 minutes, because that was our goal, was to do a daily thing, at least in the early stages of the World Cup, and it's very hard to talk to yourself for that long. So, yeah, anytime we can prevent that from happening,
Yeah,
it's
agreed.
good for me. So, but yeah, welcome on in, everybody. Welcome back to United Front. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Christina is here. Jacob will be here at some point. So thank you guys all for being here and tuning in. And we appreciate each and every one of you. Christina, let's jump right into it. I know Jacob's got an outline for us, but how was your weekend? Was it weird not having a match on Saturday? I mean, what'd you do with your free time?
It's well, it was oddly a cold, snowy weekend.
Yes.
Uh I was planning to be at my Saturday was going to be full, and I was going to be at the United Neuroabilities Clinic, and that was going to be pretty much like a whole day event, and it ended up getting canceled or postponed rather. So they've postponed it until October,
Okay.
um, which I guess will be probably pretty cold then too. So fingers crossed that not too cold, and that the kiddos we still get a good turnout.
Mhm.
But my day kind of freed up, so it was kind of nice just hanging out with my sister and my niece and
Mhm.
enjoying the snow and drinking coffee at home. I tried to catch some of the games, a few matches here and there, but I had a cousin game night,
Okay.
so where we all get together and play Mexican Trains.
Mexican Trains. What is Mexican Trains? I've never heard of
It's a
this.
domino game.
Okay.
Yeah, so you everybody has their own train, and you connect dominoes to build your train, and you try to get rid of as many dominoes as you can.
Okay.
So it typically is on a Friday night, but we had it Saturday night this weekend, so kind of occupied with that, just family stuff, I guess.
Fun
I'm
stuff.
I'm
How's your
tired of
Easter?
having bye weeks though.
I know, right? It's very weird this early in the season.
Yeah. How
Yeah, they
was
have
your
so much
Easter?
time
How
off.
was it with the kiddos?
It was quiet. The boys were here. Easter Bunny obviously visited. Um, but yeah, no, it was good. We didn't do anything big. It was just me and them. Just kind of hung out. But not a whole lot going on really. So, but I mean, they're happy with candy, so can't complain about that.
Easy to please.
Easy to please. Yeah, there's still some remnants over there. I don't know if you can see it. Um, but yeah, so the Easter Bunny found out that there are Dr. Pepper flavored Peeps. There are
Oh.
also milk chocolate dipped Peeps.
Oh, man. They're really expanding on the peep line.
They have. I want to say I've seen the Dr. Pepper ones before. I'm not a huge fan of Peeps. Like the marshmallow doesn't do it for me. But yeah, but that's like milk chocolate Peeps. Like, what the heck is that? So I don't know.
My
Plenty of
kiddos are more like the Reese's peanut butter eggs, the gummy bears, like the Harborough gummy bear that are
yeah.
like bunny shaped for Easter, that kind of thing.
Okay. I was always partial
Yeah.
to the Cadbury cream eggs, and then just anything Reese's. And I found there are Twix Easter eggs now.
Oh,
Yeah, I had never seen those before either. So
I'm
I
trying to
did.
picture what that looks like. It's just like one big giant Twix.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think Shadow Wolf was drooling over some random Twix quesadilla something or other. Okay, it
I've
is
seen
like
that.
one
Yeah,
giant
it's an egg
Twix.
shaped Twix bar. I've never seen that.
Mm. I'm a fan of Twix. I'd take one of those.
I am too. I like Twix. But yes, I was asked. There are Dr. Pepper flavored Peeps.
Yeah, that's gonna be a pass for me.
Yeah. I like Dr. Pepper. Not a fan of the marshmallow though. I don't know. Are you
Now, I
good?
did hear that the key with Peeps is um opening the package so they get kind of hard. So then
That's
they're
what
like,
Melanie likes. Jacob,
yeah,
we know
I heard
Jacob
that's the way to
eats
go.
everything marshmallow.
I what?
Jacob eats
You
everything
love
marshmallow.
Peeps.
No. I will eat them. I will eat not Peeps. I will eat marshmallows in a s'more after they've been properly roasted,
Yes.
and not
See,
and
I'll do
not
that.
not this burnt on the outside, still raw in the middle. Not no. Like they have to be like gooey, and a raw marshmallow is it's a texture thing. I'm not a
Mhm.
big fan of how sweet. I don't know. And then Peeps are just gross. Peeps are just
My fiance is gonna throw something at you here in just a second. So
I'm telling you, you like Peeps, you like Seth. I'm beginning to question your taste. It's
yeah, no, I all about the
Uh,
s'mores that works. But well, Jacob, let me ask you because I was mentioning I'm not a marshmallow fan. Fluffernutters,
say what?
fluffernutters.
yeah, I don't.
What did you call me? No, I'm just kidding.
Are fluffernutters a yes or no?
I don't know what a fluffernutter is.
You
I've-
don't know what a fluffernutter is?
I'm trying to remember. I've heard the name,
It's a
I-
peanut butter and marshmallow fluff sandwich.
Oh,
like on bread,
yeah.
Yeah,
on just raw bread, not raw
Yeah.
bread, on just flat bread. On
I
raw.
mean, if you want to
toast,
put it on flour, I don't know. It might.
on, what I meant to say was on raw toast. Now I think I'll pass on that.
You'll pass. Okay.
I-
Christina,
Yeah.
Like I said, marshmallow fluff, anything marshmallow in a s'more
Yep.
or in Rice Krispie treats. That's it. There's
okay.
there's
Yeah,
n-
Rice Krispie treats will work.
not even hot chocolate. I don't even like it in my hot chocolate.
Yep.
I don't know if you just heard, but my son questioned my entire existence right there when I
Apparently.
said that. He was just like, "What? You don't? That's dumb,
How could you?
right?
Yeah.
It's sugar, Dad."
How is your Easter, Jacob? I know, obviously, with the kids, probably pretty busy Sunday morning.
Oh
you
my
know.
gosh. Let me tell you. Okay. So last we talked, I had 3 days of training in Roswell, and then I had to go to Vegas. After I got done in Vegas, I proceeded to get a sinus infection.
I was going to ask.
no.
You sound a little
Yeah,
under the
yeah.
weather.
And then Saturday, we had that rain and wind and nastiness. I had an event here at the park, an Easter duck hunt, where kids found little rubber duckies instead of eggs. So I was out in the cold for that. I was also out in the cold Saturday morning for T-ball while battling my sinus infection. And then Sunday we did. Sunday was almost a normal day. We just went to church. We had an Easter egg hunt in church. We don't do Easter baskets Sunday morning. That's not a thing for us. And then we did go to family's house Sunday afternoon for quite a while, and that was fun. But I am still recovering, and so It did take a little bit out of me the weekend, but I'm on the upswing now. I'm definitely on the upswing, so not doing too bad. I thought overall, even though I wasn't feeling good, the weekend was good. So Easter was fun. It was a good weekend for sure.
Yeah, glad to hear it. Yeah, glad we all survived the late winter snow.
We didn't quite get snow. We just got an inch and a half of rain, but yeah, definitely cooler weather again. 34 is the lowest that I got here. I've seen April snow once.
Mhm.
Pretty much not every year, but I've seen it multiple times throughout my existence here in New Mexico. I don't know if I've ever seen 2 April storms, and I definitely don't think I've seen one past like the 20th of April like this week was.
Well, it snowed one year, not long after I first moved out here in like May of one year. It was really weird. I never experienced that.
All the flowers died.
Yeah, everything died, and then obviously this past weekend it was like 30 degrees colder on Saturday than it was on Friday. It was just miserable.
Well, so we went for T-ball for Little League, we went from 95 and blazing sun opening weekend to wind and rain and snow in some areas the next weekend. So yeah, very, very strange.
Yeah. The only thing we did outside this weekend, we went to go do laundry, and by the time I left the laundromat to go to Walmart, it was about the temperature had dropped within an hour and a half, about 8 degrees. It went from like 48 to 40 and started snowing. And this was at like 11 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh, this is awful. So, but that's all we did outside. Other than that, just kind of hung out inside, played some games, did all that kind of stuff. And how's T-ball? How is T-ball going?
Well, let me tell you, it's good. Zeke and my kids are doing good. I'm also volunteering, and I got my first taste of parent drama tonight, which is why I'm late. We had practice and then had a little meeting afterwards to talk about how one of the parents was not happy with us for this or that and the other. And so I got my first taste of that. And I tell you what, the world would just be a better place if you just let coaches coach and refs ref and let us move on with our lives. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. We actually had some drama in our I-9 basketball league. Well, more drama, I should say. So first round of playoffs was not Easter weekend, but the weekend prior. I was out of town, missed the game, and then I had multiple parents reach out to me after I get back, said, "Hey, we won the game, but the website says we lost." So, and then my son told me the same thing too. He goes, "Yeah, we won in overtime and whatever." And so I reached out to the league. I was like, "Hey, I was out of town. What's the deal?" And they go, "Well, your other coach signed off on the scorecard. They had written down the score wrong." And the league was like, "Hey, we'll reach out to the other coach to see if the other coach will agree." It's like, well, how is that? Will the other coach actually agree to this? Surprisingly, they did. They did. So they gave up a spot in the championship game, admitted the score was incorrect. And so my son's team will be playing for the championship this weekend. So, yeah. Youth sports drama, always so much fun. Also a drama last week in the Open Cup. San Antonio eliminated. New Mexico United eliminated. What happened in this match? Obviously, we were all wrong.
Wait. Of those two, us and San Antonio, which was the bigger upset?
Us.
Fair.
I mean, it's obviously New Mexico United and El Paso Locomotive over at the UNM Soccer Complex. 2-2 after extra time. We don't do shit in penalties. Chris Shakes can't save anything. El Paso advances. And our good friend Jerry is alive because of that. So what happened in this match? I mean, there's a big, when playing it out of the back moment, tag them. They were appreciative. And because El Paso screwed up, we didn't necessarily play terribly, but Talon Maples I don't know why he committed that foul when he did, but you give El Paso a set piece with seconds left in the game, and they ended up getting a goal to send that to extra time. So, I mean, what happened?
I think that I mean, on one hand, it was nice to see them actually El Paso actually come out and play rather than just parking the bus. So there's that. I feel like we haven't had a whole lot of opportunity playing against squads who are willing to play with us. So that was kind of like a little first taste of that. El Paso's first goal, I don't know. I kind of felt like Shake should have had that. It was off that set piece corner. That was kind of a soft
His
giveaway goal.
positioning wasn't good, and then he like jumped backwards instead of sideways.
Yeah.
I love Shakes. He did not have the best outing whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was between that one and then the second goal. Now that second El Paso goal, Andy Cabrera, it was a beautiful touch, a beautiful play, beautiful finish. Can't really fault. I don't fault anybody for that particular play. The set piece, the foul that led to that set piece, maybe. We've seen good Shakes, we've seen bad Shakes. This was definitely not good Shakes. And then him in penalties, I wanted to throw something at him.
What was he doing? That was the most bizarre dancing that I've ever seen.
I've seen antics like that at times, and very rarely does it work. And more often than not, you look like a fool. And he definitely came across looking like a fool. He got hands to 3 of them, or should have at least. And so
I feel like had he just focused on the task at hand rather than trying to, discombobulate the kicker, then he probably would have been able to stop those. Like he guessed right. But his momentum was kind of all over the place.
Maybe we should have listened to Seth and started Ford. Or honestly, I really did think that Ford was going to come in at the end of extra time for pins. I thought that was in play. It's not what ended up happening. But I thought there was at least a chance that happened. And now I wish it did have, or would have.
Yeah. But also, like what Josh said, what the hell was that with our penalties? I mean, that was just abysmal.
I don't think they were that bad. Zelalem's was too short or too low.
There was nothing on it.
It wasn't terrible. And then Ryden had missed it by just a few inches, and he at least had pace on it. Let me put it this way: we saw worse penalties to start last year in league play by far. We definitely saw worse ones at that time, and so they weren't the worst ones I've ever seen. Obviously, not the best ones I've ever seen. I don't know. I mentioned last week going into it that it wasn't one that I was like super. We have to win this. And so, yes, I would have loved to have beat El Paso like always. I'd love for another deep run. I think those do a lot to get us exposure and confidence in knockout tournaments. I think we'll be just fine not having that run this time.
Yeah, I wasn't really sad.
I wasn't either.
I was kind of like, I was meh about the game to begin with, and I was a little more excited like once I saw that like Brucey was starting and that Hindaka was back, like that, like those were like 2 like really good things. I was like, all right, I'm excited to watch this game. But losing, like, meh. I also feel like last time we made a deep run, this in 2019, the squad was on a tear. They were doing amazing in league play. We go to Minneapolis, they lose. And then we just kind of fell apart after that. And I feel like the same thing happened last season.
Yeah, I was gonna say
after
even last
LA,
year,
they weren't themselves. Like, what the hell happened to them after that? So I don't know. I'm kind of not sad to be contending with league play, Jägermeister, and Open Cup.
I'd agree there.
Yeah, I
think
get it. And
I
yeah,
think we had the depth to compete in all three if we would have been in all three, but I'm not super upset by it. I think it's freaking hilarious that El Paso is throwing all the shade about the Open Cup when they hadn't won a match until this year in the Open Cup. But hey, that's if it gives my El Paso fans just a little bit of hope and a little bit of something to be happy about, because I mean, we've talked about it. I don't know if they have a team in 2 years, so
Yeah.
if they're going to make a run, they better do it now.
I was gonna say it's like, and this is really awful of me to say, but it makes me think of, when somebody is in the act of dying and then they get this sudden jolt.
Yeah,
I feel like that's El Paso right now. Like
yeah.
their season is already like slowly kind of like, but then they got this sudden jolt and suddenly they're coming out of the woodworks with their memes and trolling and shit talking.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, Jerry rose from the dead or something. I don't know. He's been busy this week. I know you interact with him quite a bit, Jacob.
He's probably in the chat somewhere. We just can't see his things for some reason. I still don't know what's going on there.
No idea. But yeah, you watch this match, and honestly, it felt more like a derby match. It felt vastly different than when they came up to Albuquerque a few weeks ago.
Yeah, because they actually played soccer.
Yeah, they did. They played soccer. They got out there. They actually came forward. They didn't sit back, and it was actually entertaining. And for a while there, I thought that there was no way this match ended with 22 people. I thought it was absolutely going that way, and you could see it. And I think that ref was absolutely horrendous. By the way,
I didn't mind him.
He was questionable at best.
Yeah, I didn't like him either.
It was tough. It was tough, but I will say, watching this match, first time we've scored multiple goals in some time. You see creativity. You see what we can do against a team that's not sitting 11 people in the box. You get the header from Jalen Lindsay. You see Mackenzie Gaines intercepting the ball in the backfield and creating a goal opportunity for Vargas. Like, it was just like there were some really good things about this match. There's some things that I really liked, and to see us actually moving and getting out and creating opportunities was good to see. I just hope that there's no downswing. There's no come down from this as we head into a busy week here. We've got 2 matches coming up. You've got Monterey Bay, who are sitting in first place right now. You've got Union Omaha, who just upset San Antonio. I mean, how do we perceive a Dennis Sanchez led squad coming back and regrouping, so to speak, from an upset to a team that we really should have beaten?
I think we'll be fine. I think we had a week off. The team, I guarantee you, the team knows what's on the line tomorrow night. With us having a chance to secure first place. It might be a tie for first place, depending on what San Antonio does in the other match, but it would at least be a tie for first place with San Antonio if we can go and beat Monterey Bay. And then this open, or the U.S. Jägermeister Cup match, Union Omaha has been one of the top tier USL League One teams for a while. They're not having a great year in the league, but I can guarantee you we're not going to take them lightly. And it's going to be a Saturday night at the Lab, hopefully with good weather. I do think that it's going to be Justin. Hello. I do think we're gonna bounce back just fine. This team, to me, they almost played Tuesday night or last Wednesday night, how we felt about the match. Like, it almost felt like they felt the same way. Like, it was chippy for sure, but they didn't have like that extra gear a lot of the time. It didn't seem like, even in the first half when we were fresh. And so obviously you want a deep US Open Cup. The players have talked about the US Open Cup a lot in the last 7 years, and their love for it and their love to do good in it, and they love to be able to go to MLS teams and kind of take it to them. And so, I'm not saying that they didn't want it. I think they might have just been kind of like, man, El Paso again, blah blah blah. Okay, and so I don't think they're going to take it too hard. I think we'll be just fine. I think they'll come in, they'll give it a great effort tomorrow, and I'm not worried about their mindset going forward.
Christina, we've known about this match for a while. It's the first time we've ever kind of really known in advance, hey, we're going to be hosting a match in the Open Cup. With the lead time, looking at the numbers that came out on Wednesday, obviously not a huge crowd, smaller complex, all those kinds of things, whatever. How do you feel about the turnout on Wednesday night for the Open Cup match?
It sounded better than it looked. I will say that. From what I saw, at least on like Discord conversation, it sounded like maybe the ticket prices were a little bit steep for people. So that might have been a deterrent for some to want to go out there. I don't know. For me personally, Wednesday nights are hard. I knew that we have Monterey Bay tomorrow night, and if I was going to have to pick and choose which Wednesday night this month I was going to bounce from family life and go to a soccer game, I opted for Monterey Bay. So I wonder how many other fans are doing the same thing.
$23 and no free water. Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of what the ticket cost was on that. Yeah, that seems a little high. I don't know what it's been in the past, because obviously we've been able to get in, for free due to our media credentials, but that feels high for an Open Cup match. But and Josh, we don't play El Paso in group play, fortunately. So we don't have to worry about that.
So they're not in our
they're in our group, but our group has seven teams, and we only play four other matches. 3 other matches. Yeah. And El Paso is not who we play in Jägermeister Cup. And I believe only the top team in each group advances. I will double check that just to be sure. But so yeah, there's a very real chance that we won't see El Paso but one more time this year. So
soon.
Yeah.
Next
soon,
week,
dude.
right?
Yeah. 2 weeks, yeah. 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. But yeah, I guess there were problems with UNM and flags as well. Did you guys hear about this? I guess there was a comment over on Facebook. UNM was not allowing flags.
I did see that.
If anyone in the chat had any experience with that, let us know. Because that's odd. I want to say they've allowed them in the past. I don't know why they wouldn't, but I don't know.
I guess Rio Rancho is better than UNM.
Yeah, for sure. I liked it last year in Rio Rancho.
Yeah,
it looked like a nice stadium. Yeah,
it was nice.
Yeah,
the football lines kind of throw it off, but it wasn't too bad.
All right, so yeah, I'm trying to figure out. This does make a lot of sense.
Well, in Rio Rancho last year, Jacob, did you have to pay for parking?
No.
That would make more sense to me. I feel like that would be like a friendlier, option than expensive UNM, where they're kind of bah humbug with our soccer traditions and then paying or charging crazy for parking. It's just like one turn off after another.
So it's the top team from each group advancing, and then the 2 teams who score the most goals. Not who have the best point differential or anything like that. Just who score the most goals will advance as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much faith I have in our guys for that one.
What I want to see them do is not try to win and just go all offense, lose every game 6-5, and then we won't win the group, but we'll have like 35 goals compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that'd
that'd be some exciting footy to watch for sure.
Yeah.
That's partly why last year I got really into that Oh, I forget what that tournament's called.
The soccer tournament.
Yeah, like it's so fun. Like the rules are so wonky. It was really fun to watch those games.
Yeah, so our Jägermeister Cup schedule is Union Omaha, Phoenix Rising, Colorado Springs, and then San Antonio. So, yeah, unless El Paso somehow gets in on wild card, or basically, if we win the group, El Paso would only get in if they have goals scored. So, or most goals scored, I should say. So yeah, it's a weird format. I don't know how exactly that's all going to work out in the end, but we get to see Union Omaha this week. So yeah, it's it's interesting. So glad we don't get to see El Paso one more time in there. But yeah, it's you look forward, again, 2 matches this week. Obviously, Monterey better than we all predicted to this point. They're top of the table in the West currently. You look at that though, their results on the road are odd. They have 3 goals scored in 4 matches on the road. All 3 of those came in 1 match, and their other 3 road matches they've been shut out. So I don't know if they haven't quite figured it out yet, but with the amount of turnover this team had, for them to be in the position that they're in right now, it's a little surprising. They do have a couple names that we all probably know. But looking at what they've done so far, I mean, Jacob, when you look at Monterey, what do they bring to the match? What do they bring into this that we should be, looking for? Like, what are they doing right?
I've watched them a little bit here and there, and nothing like jumps off the screen at me as far as how they're playing. It's almost more of they're just playing as one. We've talked about that kind of being our superpower at times, that we just play together. They have 3 guys with 3 goals. They don't have, or sorry, 1 guy with 3 goals and then 3 guys with 2 goals. So they don't have anybody that's like running away with it. They're kind of, they're not middle of the pack. They're a little bit better than everything on attack, in the attack and stuff as far as teams are concerned. Their keeper does lead the league in saves and clean sheets, but to me that, like, I think we can get some stuff past them. I don't know. It's a weird team, man. It's a weird team. They're towards the upper half in goals, but they're not. They've had 4 more goals than we have. Granted, they've played 1 more match, or is it 2 more matches now? 2 more matches now. So they played 2 more matches. They have 4 more goals. They're tied with us in clean sheets. They do take a lot of shots. They've got 75 on the year. We're way down at 45. But I don't know. The X's and O's wise, nothing is really jumping off the page. It's just that they're playing well together. It seems like they have a good cohesive unit, and they're playing good right now. I personally, I'm wrong on them on the year. They're not going to finish last. Like I said, I don't think they finish first, and I think they're probably fighting for a home playoff spot. I think they're more likely to miss the playoffs than finish in the top 2. Is kind of how I'll say it, and that's not nothing against how they're playing right now. I just think that they'll eventually kind of fall off and kind of come back down a little bit. But I could be wrong. I mean, I was already wrong about them once, so I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird team that I'm still not quite figured out yet.
They're like our doppelganger. And wouldn't it be fun if, I mean, even their badge looks like our badge. So
Yes.
if we
Always
wore
has.
our teal kit and they wore their yellow kit,
That'd be fun.
like that would just be.
I would also hate it because I would be very confused.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're just, like you said, they're a weird club. Like I said, they haven't quite put it all together. Like they just haven't. But they're getting results. Unbeaten in 5, 3 wins, 2 draws. Again, all 3 of their road goals came in 1 match. So I don't know if it's just at least they're not giving up goals on the road. So don't know. I don't know what to make of them. But again, having a roster of names that we really don't know. I mean, we know Rebelliar. That's about it. There aren't really any more names that we as Western Conference followers are familiar with.
Well, Alex Dixon was on their team last year. He scored against us last year. But he's not one of the guys that's been performing for them or playing a whole lot for them. Miles Lyon, who played for El Paso the last couple years, is over there, and he actually has been kind of a spark for them. He has looked really good. And then the rest are kind of new names. Elijah Paul's been one of their better players. He's their player with 3 goals. I don't know a whole lot about him. He's kind of come out of nowhere for us, or for me anyways. He played for Real Salt Lake, was drafted by them in the Super Draft, and then played with Real Monarchs. But he's fairly young. He's 22. He's a forward. He's been performing well for him, but kind of one of those guys in the vein of Italian Maples, obviously different positions, but coming over from MLS Next Pro, a league that we don't really follow all that much, and has performed well. The names like Alex Dixon and Luther Archimed and Grant Robinson and stuff like that names some of us might be familiar with, are not necessarily the ones that are carrying the load. It's a bunch of guys that nobody's really heard of. And much like us last year, that's kind of how we functioned. Not a lot of these names were names that USL Championship people were really familiar with. So they're just coming together nicely, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, obviously none of us had them anywhere near the playoff line. In our preseason rankings or preseason predictions. But yeah, I mean, it's they're just playing well together. That's all it is. I do agree. I think there is a come back to earth stretch for them, because right now I do believe that I do feel like they are overperforming expectations. I don't think that this is a team that will necessarily be competing for a top 4. I mean, maybe 6, 7, somewhere in there. That's what I ultimately think, given what I've seen so far. But yeah, I mean, they're just playing well at the moment. We talked. Again, we'll throw it back. A couple weeks ago, you said, "What is San Antonio peaking too early?" Maybe the same thing could be said for Monterrey.
Can we stop throwing that out there? It was a joke when I said it, people.
But no, I mean, and we've talked to Harry about the issues in San Antonio, and obviously they're a little bit deeper now. They've lost to Union Omaha, and so San Antonio obviously has things to figure out. But
and Miami,
Miami, yeah. But no, I do think that Monterey Bay does come back a little bit. They do regress towards the second half of the season. I just don't know what to expect with them coming on the road. I mean, they've certainly looked competitive, not world beaters by any stretch of the imagination. You look back at what we did against North Carolina, 76% possession, in a match that we really, controlled everything other than, putting several goals past them. So I don't think Monterey comes out defensive. I don't think they do. I think they want to come in and prove a point, to say, hey, yeah, we are legitimate. We do deserve to be top of the West. It's not just this one stretch. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with this. What do you want to see tomorrow night, Christina?
I want to see them not park the bus. I want to see them actually play against us. I've gotten the sense that they kind of like how Jacob was saying, they're so similar to our style. I think they have a pretty solid defense, and they do lots of long balls. So I'm curious how our defense would handle that. Our midfield too. I don't know. I feel like it's maybe going to be a little bit of a chess kind of game. It might not be like super high energy or tons of goals. It might be both teams just kind of trying to figure out their way around each other.
Yeah.
I just want to see more goals.
I think everybody does. I think everybody does. Is there anyone in particular that stands out? Like just one player that stands out for either of you?
For
For
them,
Monterey or
For
or
Monterey,
United?
yeah.
I mean, I mentioned him earlier, Miles Lyons, who has been playing really well for them, kind of on that back line. It depends on how they decide to come out. I think they could come out and pack it in and try to hit on the counter. I'm not sure that's what they do, but it wouldn't surprise me necessarily. And so if they do that, then Elijah Paul and their forwards are going to be the ones that I want to watch, because it's going to basically be all on them to create something for them. If they don't do that and they come out and they actually want to try to play, then Lyons is going to be a guy that I watch, because if he plays in a position that he's up forward in their attack, can we exploit that space behind him? And vice versa. If Lindsay, Seymour, Gloucester, if he's back, if one of them are bombing forward to attack, can he get behind them and exploit space too? So to me, it's either gonna come down to that if they're playing open and free in actual soccer, and if not, then it's gonna come down to, can their forwards get behind our defensive line on a breakaway and score that way.
Yeah, you talk about exploiting the space in behind. We certainly saw Macaulay Akale doing that a couple weeks ago, but with Sanchez's philosophy of sticking to playing out of the back, I mean, do you see us at trying to take advantage of that, trying to play a little bit more direct? We saw it work, other than Quele's final touches.
So it's only going to be on counters. It's going to be in those transition moments, right? Mm-hmm. If we get possession of the ball and there's not a chance to break, then no, we're not going to try to play direct and go over the top, because we have the ball and they're already dropping back. It's in those moments where we get a turnover in the midfield and we start attacking. If Lions had already made a run up because they had the ball at that time, but we can turn them over, that's when we're going to see if we can exploit that space behind. We're still, if we get possession and we can't break right away, we're still going to play how we've been playing and play it out of the back and slow it down and try to build up out of the back as much as they're going to let us, right? If they're going to drop back, and if in possession they're going to drop back and play a mid to low block, then we'll see a lot of Talon and Ryden kicking around at midfield again. But if they actually want to play soccer and come up and try to press the issue, then yeah, I think we could see some more direct balls over the top, not because Lions is pushing forward, but just because they're giving us that space. I think what we've seen in the few matches that we've seen, both last Wednesday against El Paso and the first match of the year against Sacramento, when we still had 11 players, was we will try to exploit whatever space they give us. In that El Paso, or in the Sacramento match, they were very much, the back line was playing deep, but then it was leaving this big gap for Hurst to come and hold up play. And we were exploiting that really well. Against El Paso, they were playing a little higher line. We tried a few more direct balls, didn't really work out. And same last week against, who was it last week? Why am I blanking? Who did we play? Yeah, North Carolina. If they give us that space, we'll try to exploit it. If they don't, then we'll try to exploit the space that they do give us. And that's what I have liked about Sanchez's system, is that it's not we're going to go over the top whether you're giving us that space or not. We're going to play it short whether you're giving that space or not. It's very much like, okay, how are you playing us? We're going to find a way to attack you then.
Yeah, that's where I think that chess match is going to come into play.
Yeah, I wrote about it over on 1017. Rebel Yar, a guy He's a veteran of the league. He's, put in quite a few minutes for them so far this year. It was mentioned over the chat earlier. Justin mentioned, I believe, the midfield. That's going to be huge for us. Now, obviously, Zico Bailey's back. Tomas Pandeka is back. You've got guys who are able to work through there and have that space and really control that area. I think if we limit the number of mistakes, because we did see some turnovers around midfield and in our defensive half on Wednesday against El Paso, clean those up, play solid through the midfield, find those links, find the space in between that, the second and third line. And even in behind, look for those opportunities. Like, you can't hesitate. You've got to find those opportunities to play that ball in. And I think you can beat Monterrey. So, it's, if you let someone like Rebollar control that midfield, it's going to be a bit of an issue for us.
I have yet to see a team outplay us in the midfield. And so that is one thing that, Justin said, Jabon, Gideon, Pandeka, Zico, that midfield, I think it's going to be hard for somebody to outplay us in the midfield. And I think that's kind of why teams, it's a contributing factor into why teams have been content on parking the bus against us. Because if you open us up and actually play the whole pitch, our midfield is better than yours. That's just kind of how it's been. And so I'm curious to see. It makes, at this point, until a team comes out and plays us openly at the lab in league play, I'm going to assume everybody comes in and parks the bus.
Yep, more than likely. All right, score predictions tomorrow night, Monterey Bay. Christina, we'll start with you.
No. I'm gonna guess 2-0. I think. I hope we'll have Alex back. Will he be back from Greece? I don't know.
He should be.
Yeah. I feel like they're coming off of that loss. I feel like it's back at home at the lab. They haven't played. They had the bye week. They're gonna have some fire under them. So I'm rooting for 2-0. They want to take that first place spot.
Okay. Jacob?
I just said I'm going to expect them to come park the bus, but I'm going to semi-contradict that. I'm going to say 3-1. And I say that because I think this is the match that we finally get one of those early goals and force Monterey Bay to open up a little bit, especially in the second half. That's kind of what my thought process is.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I would love to see a multi-goal match, especially in league play. I think it would be phenomenal. I don't know if I'm there, though. Monterey has been all or nothing on the road, and I honestly think this one finishes 0-0, especially if Monterey does come in and park the bus. If they do sit, 10 behind the ball, it's gonna end 0-0. Because I don't see us giving up a goal to them. I don't think they're creative enough going forward, especially with our back four. But yeah, I mean, if teams are gonna keep coming in and parking and with that mid to low block, we have not shown that we can break that down. We just haven't.
We haven't put goals in the back of the net. I have consistently seen growth and creativity in our attack. Match from match to match to match to match. And that is why even if they come and they park the bus, I still think that there's a chance to get a goal early because I've seen us build on things and try new things and be creative here and be creative there and have movement. If you look at that first El Paso match, there was no movement whatsoever. And I think it goes to when we were in the post-game presser, in that match, Sanchez said that he did not expect El Paso to do that. And so I don't think they had been training for that to happen. And I think you've seen since then them be like, okay, teams are going to do this to us. We need to figure out how to break it down. Let's implement this. Let's implement this. Let's build on this. Let's build on that. And so we have not shown the results of all that creativity, but in watching the matches and seeing how we've handled it from match to match to match, there has been growth there. There has been more creativity. And I do think eventually those chances start to fall. And I'm hoping and thinking that it does happen this match. So I will push back a little bit on the not. Yes, we haven't got the goals, but there's been progress there.
Oh, I'll agree. There's been progress. We just haven't managed to do enough because you look at it, and this is one thing I will give John Morrissey credit for, is that we're not putting the number of goals past people that we expected, that a lot of people expected, given the names and the ability that we have to move the ball and get it into the area, which we haven't. So that I will give John credit for. The rest of his power rankings out the window.
But we haven't been able to do that, and everybody was expecting more goals because nobody was expecting them to play against 10 men in the box plus the keeper. And so, yes, it's taken some more time to figure that out. But this is when you look at 70% possession and what we have there, it's not going to be a high XG team because it's taking way more effort to break down that 10-man block than it is if we're playing open and free. And so for him to come in, this is where I will push back against John, for him to come in and be like, oh, well, they can't beat a low block and that ruins Sanchez's system. No shit. The low block is the low block for a reason. Teams play it against teams that are better than them for a reason, because it's the hardest defense to score against. And we've seen that we have been able to score against it. It hasn't been 2-3 goals at a time, but the creativity is getting better. The goals are there. Enough goals to win. And so it's not fun. It's boring. It's frustrating. I get all that. The raw numbers are not going to be there because we're not going to get shots off because there's always bodies between us and the freaking goal. And so I disagree strongly. I'll put it
I think so. Yeah, it's working. There is progression. Like, yes, you do see things happening. I think it's just taking us far. It's taking too long for us to make it happen. I think if we get an early goal, I think that then changes the complexion of it. But I mean, we can't. We've got to find a way to score before the 70th minute.
Yeah, but saying that while going up against the low block is.
I know.
Is asking for the moon. Like it's not snap your fingers and we score a goal in the first 15 minutes.
Well, that's like
that works.
And that's why in that match a couple weeks ago against North Carolina, where we were going direct, we had Quelle over the top, and he had those really shitty touches. Like we had opportunities. We could have broken that open early, but we didn't. Right. So maybe maybe we do need to go a little bit more direct early, open those lines a little bit, be like, yeah, guys, we have the pace to do this.
But we can only go direct if they're not playing in a low block.
I know. If they pull up, you get the ball in transition, you get the opportunity. Even if they are playing a low block, if you get the ball in transition, you've got the opportunity to play it over the top. We have the pace to do it. We have the leg to do it. So I don't know. I think if we can get an early goal, I think it changes the complexion of everything. But
100%.
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that there's so many different goal scorers. It's like it's hard to predict who our goals are going to come from, and I think that keeps the other teams again on their heels with that low block. But it shows our creativity and our willing to just keep trying and being creative.
Yeah. So last thing about tomorrow night, we do have Bark at the Park, Pups on the Pitch, whatever. Pups on the Pitch, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
Pups on the pitch.
Sorry. Hey.
So if you are planning on bringing your dog to the park tomorrow night, I believe it's a $5 fee to get your dog in. You also have to have proof of rabies vaccination and something else. Anyway, I know David Weissecarl put out all the information over on that Facebook. If you're interested, go check that out. And then Saturday night for the Jägermeister Cup first match of group play, Union Omaha comes down for UFO night. whatever that means. Union Omaha, we talked about them a little bit earlier. They've done very well in their existence. They've won USL League One twice. They've made the playoffs every single year. They're a well-run club, and I believe that they are rumored to be making the jump to championship within the next couple of years. I know they've already been working on like new facilities and things of that nature. And you mentioned earlier, Jacob, league play. They've only played 3 matches. They played half as many matches as the rest of League One, mainly because they've also been involved in Open Cup wins over Des Moines Menace and San Antonio FC. And now they come in with the chance to beat another USL Championship club with a cup points on the line. There are some names on this club that we are familiar with. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at their roster, but there's some guys over at Union Omaha. They just keep finding ways to bring in guys who've already played at championship level and done well for themselves. I don't know how much you've had a chance to watch them this year. Did you watch the San Antonio match with Union Omaha last week?
I have not. We've talked about how busy my April and spring have been. Unfortunately, I do not have a lot of opportunity to watch anything more than New Mexico United at the moment. But they do have some names. Isidro, Cello Martinez.
Cello's there?
He is.
Oh, I love Cello.
He was great. One of my favorites, Prosper Kasim, who has played for Birmingham since their whole entire existence until this year. He's over there. They're a pretty well-run organization. They have continuity with their coach and some of their players from last year, and so I expect a good fight there. I also expect them to pack it in. It's an organization that I think most USL League One teams kind of aspire to be.
Well, and if they've got Cello, we got to be careful with giving them set pieces because he's dangerous in those set pieces.
That he is. Yeah, I mentioned him in my article for 1017 that's going to come out this evening. Cello's there. You've got Michak Jerome, who we're very familiar with. He's over there. You've got Aaron Gomez. You got Lagos Kunga from Atlanta United. They've got some talent over here at Union Omaha. Obviously the early season results haven't been there. Their one win was against South Georgia Trementa FC a couple weeks ago. That was a 3-1 win there for them. But it's been nearly a month since they had a win in any sort of league play. Now, also 2 wins in the Open Cup. You can't necessarily say that they're playing poorly. I mean, obviously you've got, 3 wins from 5, counting, all competitions. I don't know that they come in and stack it. I don't know that they come in and park the bus. I think that they want to come in. They've already proven they've beaten USL the championship this season. Why not come in and beat another? I don't see them parking it. I see them coming out and being aggressive and trying to make a statement in this match. You're muted.
I will bet you $5 they parked the bus. If USL championship teams are coming in here and doing it, they're going to do it.
Well,
and honestly, if they don't, I think they're going to get their ass kicked.
Okay.
I think I'm more on Seth's side on this one. I think they're going to come out and give it their all, and I don't know. They're underdogs, kind of. They have got something to prove.
Looking at their cup schedule, they have us, San Antonio, Texoma, and El Paso. So, obviously, we don't know how the Texoma match is going to go. Texoma is not playing well at all. I don't know if they've had a single result in their favor yet this year. I don't know if I think they might have 1 point. But of those three USL championship sides, they've already proven they can beat San Antonio. Now, they do have a little bit of time for that next match against them. Maybe San Antonio performs better in the meantime and improves and gets healthy. But you look at those 3 matches, there is a possibility here, that Union Omaha, again, given their history, given the talent that they have, maybe they sneak out of this group.
I think that'd be pretty cool for them. I don't know. I wouldn't be sad. I like the plan. Maybe they take first, and we score a hell of a ton of goals. I could get by. I could get on board with that plan.
Okay. Jacob, you're not sold on this. You don't.
I'm not. Now, I will be the first to say that I go by the eye test way more than I go by stats. I did not watch the San Antonio game, but I did just look up the stats. San Antonio held a 66 to 34% possession, which sounds to me like Union either maybe not parked the bus, but they didn't care about possession.
They got lucky.
They both shots on target. Shots on target were dead even at 3 apiece. Shots were 11 to 10. San Antonio. I will say Union Omaha did score in the 36th minute, which is earlier in the match. So maybe that could be why possession was like that. Maybe before that possession was pretty even. I'm not sure.
Was it a set piece goal?
I don't remember. Let me look. The goal was an Isidro Martinez assist. And it was a defender that scored it. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it was a set piece goal if Isidro assisted it and a defender scored it. So that
we can't give Cello those set pieces.
Yeah, set pieces are going to be tough, but I think we control possession pretty easy. I'm not saying that they can't win, and I'm not saying that they don't have the talent to come in here and put up a fight. I think the style of that fight is going to be the style of the fight that we've grown accustomed seeing at the lab, and that is sit back and try to counter, try to earn some set pieces, try to get Isidro in those chances or in those with those chances to deliver a good ball in. And I'm not sold on the style of the fight. I am sold that there's going to be a fight. I don't think it's going to be easy. Cello's first name is Isidro Martinez.
It was not a set piece goal. It was a transition.
With a defender scoring, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So transition.
That too.
So I don't know. I'm very curious how that match. I'm very excited about that match. I'm not thrilled that they took away 4 matches from the regular season to have that competition, but I am excited for that competition. I think it's going to be fun. I think, especially with the announcement of Pro Rel and the announcement of Division One, when you can get these competitions that USL League One versus USL Championship, which unless it's in Open Cup, we haven't seen before. And so I am excited about that, excited about the opportunity to go play. I wish we played Texoma as well, just to get a little more variety and stuff, but we'll see. I'm excited for it nonetheless, even if I do think they're going to sit back.
So I do know that some people have declared our group the group of death. I mean, obviously,
it's a tough group.
Yeah, it's a very tough group. Colorado Springs, El Paso, New Mexico, Phoenix Rising, San Antonio, Texoma, and Union Omaha. Obviously, Union Omaha defending League One champions. You've got us and Colorado Springs who were in the playoffs last year. San Antonio, Rising, and El Paso are there as well. So, I mean, yeah, it's a very tough group. You said you didn't like them taking matches away from the league schedule. I mean, we're already a 10th of the way, 10% done with the league schedule. Would you have rather them added 4 extra matches?
Honestly, yeah.
So make it 32 plus 4,
34 plus 4.
Yeah, 34 plus 4 plus Open Cup plus the knockout stages.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're getting closer and closer to like 42, 44 matches potentially if you make a run in everything.
Yeah, like we see it in maybe what it could have been was only certain teams play in in the USL Jägermeister Cup or something like that. What I don't like about the regular season schedule is that it's imbalanced now, and that you have teams playing the top teams in the East, but not the bottom teams in the East, the bottom teams in the East, not the top teams in the East.
Mhm.
I liked being able to play 2 against everybody and then 1 against everybody in the East, or vice versa if you were in the East. And so taking that away is what I don't like. I'm not necessarily for playing 38 guaranteed matches plus Open Cup plus everything else. I just wish we could have kept a balanced schedule in league play on top of the new competition, and or at least maybe do, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how they did it is probably the best way that they could have done it, but maybe you do smaller groups. You play everybody in your group, so it's only 3 group matches instead of 4. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And so I do like the fact that they're coming on a Saturday. Union Omaha is coming to the lab on a Saturday, where we're coming off of a Wednesday match that week, but we've had a week off before then. I don't know. I think it is what it is, and it's probably the best that we can do it right now.
All right. Predictions Saturday, Jägermeister Cup.
One nothing.
1-0. Okay. Obviously going for Union Omaha there.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Christina, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a 2-0 kind of week.
Okay. All right. I too agree in that it's going to be a good week. I think I predicted the draw earlier against Monterey Bay. I think Union Omaha coming in, obviously they've struggled.
You predicted a draw? How did I miss that?
I said 0-0.
0-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to have to sludge through writing about it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But no, I Union Omaha coming in, I don't think they parked the bus, but I don't think that they're good enough. Because at this point, I do think we are better than everyone that they played so far this year. Des Moines, Menace, San Antonio, South Georgia, all the
Shots
teams.
fired at Harry.
At this point, I do. There's not shots fired at Harry. I think legitimately where we're at right now with how we're playing and how San Antonio's season has gone so far. So
Yeah, we need those goals for Space Kid.
yeah. So I think we have our shooting boots on Saturday. I'm gonna say 3-0. 3-0 over Omaha.
3-0. Nice.
Get the win. Get the goals lead.
If it's 3-0, I'm gonna turn into Will Ferrell's character from Old School, and we're going streaking through the quad, guys, because that's insane.
I'm curious if Space Kid is coming for the Monterey Bay or for the
he's coming from
Monterey.
Monterey Bay.
Oh, okay.
Fun stuff.
Hopefully it's
All
good
right.
turnout.
Yeah, we'll see. Midweek.
Pups
School's
on the
not
pitch.
quite out yet. Yeah, pups on the pitch. I don't know. My guess is probably in the neighborhood of 7.
7. Yeah, I'd guess 7 too.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood, which would be nice. But yeah. So, do we want to play guessing game with John's rankings, or just say John's wrong?
Did I not send the actual rankings?
You didn't send
No.
No, you
I
said I got
didn't,
the
did I?
first 3 right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Christina didn't reply to that text. So Christina,
I did not.
she was saving it for the pod.
I was thinking it over, and then life got in the way.
So who's number 1?
Who does John think is number 1?
Who does John have at number 1? I'll give you a hint. Lou City is number 2.
Battery.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I not sold on necessarily. They have looked good lately, but
Yeah.
yes, Charleston, Lou City, Monterey Bay. Who's number 4?
Um, ooh, I
They are
I'm trying to
currently
think of I'm
they're
trying to think of
current
what the results are.
they're
Would it be
currently
like
sitting
the
they're currently
first
sitting
and
on
the
top of the East.
okay, okay. That makes sense that they would be 4, I guess. I would rank them higher personally, but
So Loudon is sitting at 4.
4.
5 also
We're
in the
we're
East.
5,
We're not 5.
right? Oh, we're not 5.
No,
Are
we
we
were
6?
6. Yeah,
Okay, we're 6. So who's above us? Um,
also in the East.
is it Monterey? No, also in the East.
Monterey's 3.
Okay. Trying to think. Detroit?
Detroit.
Okay.
So we're at 6. Tulsa's at 7. Sacramento's at 8. Now I've had a complete change of heart on this, guys. I've had a complete change of heart. I have done a complete 180. I fully agree with John on this.
Yeah. What did he say?
Maybe not fully agree. I don't know what he
How
said.
did he justify it?
So he didn't justify it this way. I'm justifying it this way. When you look at the standings, there are 8 teams with 4 or more wins, 7 teams with 4 wins, and then Loudon with 6. And then everybody else kind of sucks or is at least super inconsistent. So I don't know who to fill out in the top. The fact that they're 8 kind of pisses me off. I think they should be 7, but he's got number 9. Who does he have at number 9, Christina? And then we'll talk about the standings. I'll give you a hint. They're one of those teams with 4 wins. And they've been brought up several times on the show already.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be Sacramento. They 10? Sacramento's 10?
Sacramento's 8.
Sacramento is 8?
Yes. Yes.
John smoking.
Aren't they like
hard.
in last place in the West practically? Like
Yes.
They are tied. They are tied for 10th, and they're only 3 points behind El Paso in 5th. So yeah, if you say last place, yes, that does sound bad, but they're not that far out of pushing for a home playoff spot.
They have one win in 6 matches.
Yes, and that one win was against us with a man down for like 80 minutes.
But
and we still dominated.
Almost half the league has 1 win. That's the point that I was going to get to. Was
well, you can't put someone with 1 win in the top 10 when you have 24 teams.
You can when there's 8 teams with 4 wins up, and then there's Locomotive with 2, Vegas with 2, Orange County with 2, and Oakland with 2. All of those teams have looked like trash at times this year. Lexington has 1, Sacramento has 1, Colorado has 1, Phoenix has 1. In the East, North Carolina has 2. I've not been sold on them. Pittsburgh has 2. Fair enough. Miami has 2. Indy, Birmingham, Rhode Island, Tampa Bay, and Hartford all have 1. When the bottom 2/3 of the league have 1 or 2 wins and all of them are question marks, I can at least see an argument for Sacramento being on potential being in the top 10. They wouldn't be in my top 10. They would not be in my top 10. I'll give you that right now. I would have Miami in my top 10 right now because power rankings should be like current form.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Miami, I would agree with.
Not the days of of
not whoever's paying John
the
most.
past.
But I can also see if you have your preseason power rankings, the movement is going to happen little by little throughout the season. And we have seen Sacramento come down, except for this week. They did move up 1. They blew a 2-goal lead and moved above a bye week for San Antonio for somehow. So the logic to me isn't necessarily there. Harry made this argument in the chat. The league below the top 4 in each league, in each conference, the bottom 2/3 of each conference are a mess. And you can win one match and all of a sudden be in 5th place. And so
Yeah.
That's the only argument that I will make, is that it's just jumbled once you get past. It's San Antonio, Tulsa, New Mexico, and Monterey Bay in the West, and then it's Charleston, Lou City, Loudoun, and
Detroit
in the East. And once you get past those 8 teams, it's a free for all.
So
I
who's
also
10?
will go on record. 10 was Lexington.
Okay.
I
I guess they drew against Monterey.
I guess they also just have 1 win. So it's I don't know. Power rankings this year would be a disaster to try to do. If I remember correctly, let me pull it up, because I'm willing to bet that here it is right here. If you look at
Chris's
Nicholas Murray
or
over
Nicholas?
at USL, have either of you looked at that?
Mm-mm.
No, not this week.
It
All
doesn't
right.
stay on the front page very long, so every time I try to go find it, it's
I see it on social media and I click on it. That's the only way I go to it. So
They're not
I
on
will
Blue
say-
Sky, so I don't see it on Blue Sky. I don't think.
his top 10, Nicholas Murray's top 10 is not necessarily order, but the teams are almost identical. There is one team that is in his top 10 that is not in John's, and it's not Sacramento.
Miami.
No, so he has Colorado Springs at 9,
Okay.
and Lexington is at 12. So Lexington is the one that's in John's, that's not in Nicholas Murray's. He does have Sacramento at 10, so a little bit farther back. San Antonio at 8, Tulsa at 7, Detroit at 6, us at 5, Monterey Bay at 4, Loudoun at 3, Charleston at 2, and Lou City at 1. So his top 6 are all the same, slightly different order. 7 is exactly the same on both. And then 8, 9, 10 are kind of mixed matched with the 2 of them. He does have Miami at 15th. He's got Vegas in last, which I'm not 100% sold on that, but power rankings are just a good thing to talk about, a good conversation piece. That's really all it is. And I do think that having tried to do a power rankings the last 2 weeks, not that I would put out publicly, but just in my head as my own exercise, like I said, once you get past those top 8, it is, you throw a dart and any of those 12 teams could be, or any of those, not 12, 24, to 18 teams. Sorry.
Yeah. If you get outside the top 8, there's 16 teams.
Yeah, 16. Thank you. My math was not mathing there. Any of those 16 teams could be in any order, really, most of the time. And so it's not a fun exercise to do. I will tear John apart for how he had his earlier. But I think we've all been, the 3 of us, having watched Sacramento so closely in that first match, knew that they were garbage, or at least closer to garbage than good.
Yep.
From the moment we watched that match.
Yep.
Where John, I think, where he tries, but I think fails, is that it's really hard to watch every match every week with an eye strictly on that match with like no distractions. And so you kind of lose things when you do that. And I think that he's trying, Nicholas tries, he tries, we try. I mean, we don't pretend to be experts on the whole league, but we talk about the whole league, at least at some point. And it's just an impossible task for one person, especially if you have like a normal job on top of that. If this was your job, sure. But I think John has a regular 9 to 5, or at least a regular job. on top of all this stuff, and so it's tough. I don't envy them for having to do that or trying to do that. That being said, Sacramento should still not be in the top 10.
No, they should not.
Nope.
I just don't know who should be. That's my only argument. The power rankings should be like 1 through 8, and then like 12 through 32 or 28 or whatever it is, because the top 10 should be reserved for solid teams, and there's really 8 solid teams and then nothing else. All right, Justin. All right. After this weekend, I will put out my version of a power ranking to you guys in some way, shape, or form. I'm not going to write 500 words on every team. You will get a 1 through 24 list with maybe 4 or 5 teams that have little blurbs about them.
I said it'll be just I said what I said.
Yeah. Sacramento sucks. Phoenix can't play first halves. Somehow makes miraculous comebacks. El Paso will just be El and Paso, and that's it. Colorado Springs will be just like, still the little brothers. I don't care if they have a star.
Yeah. All right.
Like, I know you don't have Twitter anymore, Christina, but I don't know when you did, if you followed I Hate Your Club.
No, I think I missed out on that one.
He's very, whoever runs that account is pretty funny, but is very much like, this is why I hate your club. And most of the time it's very superficial crap. And so mine will definitely be a lot of that, with the occasional, my actual thoughts on how they're playing.
I definitely enjoy on Reddit when they do like the all caps threads. Those are fun to read.
Yep, that they are. Well, I don't have anything else. You guys have anything else?
I will say that my hockey team and my basketball team are in the playoffs. Playoffs suck. They're so damn stressful. I hate it. So Minnesota's playing right. The Timberwolves are playing right now. So if you saw me exasperate for any reason, that was why. I tell you, being a sports fan takes years, decades. Takes decades off your life expectancy if your team is like, if I was just a Rockies fan and nothing else, I would have no stress in my life whatsoever because they suck and they're always going to suck and they will always be suck. But when your team is actually competitive, it's very, very stressful.
Yep. That it is.
Well, hopefully you'll be on like Euphoric High with your teams doing well.
That is the opposite of that, right? When they do well, it is. I remember last year when Minnesota played Denver in the second round of the West playoffs in basketball, and they beat Denver in Game 7. That was probably like the most singular hit of endorphins I've felt in a very, very long time, in like a quick time span. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Alrighty. Well, if there's nothing else, Jacob, what do you say we get out of here?
Let's do it. Thank you guys for starting without me. And no, that wasn't sarcasm. Like, I was running late, so I appreciate you guys being able to take it up. So our adoring fans didn't have to wait for us much longer. I don't know if you saw, but I did put it on Twitter on my drive home. Yes, I was driving and doing that. Don't judge me. I did it for you guys. So thank you guys for that. Justin, Space Kid, Josh. I think I saw Melanie over there early in the chat when we were talking about peeps for some ungodly reason. Jane was over there a little bit earlier. Thank all you guys. Thank everybody that's watching. Remember, if you are watching on YouTube, subscribe. That lets us know how many people care. I'm not going to say to hit the little bell and get notifications. We will notify you. I will text every single one of you if I have to and be like, hey, watch it now. But thank you guys for watching us over there. If you are listening to this later date, also thank you guys. And please follow, subscribe, whatever you do on whatever podcast player that you choose on. Rate and review. if your podcast player of choice allows that. And then, of course, big week, Monterey Bay tomorrow, 7:30? 7 tomorrow.
Great question.
For first place. If you're in the Albuquerque area and you can, please make it out to that. I want to see over 8,000 at that match. Is what I would love to see. Jane, unfortunately, I had every intention of going out there Wednesday, but sicknesses and stuff like that, I will not be able to make it out there. I'm hoping to be there Saturday. Christina, you're going to be there tomorrow. It sounded like.
I'm hoping to be there tomorrow,
Okay.
and I have a wedding on Saturday, so won't be there Saturday. Yeah.
Weddings, you can just go. I mean, what are
Sounds
the
a little
odds?
early.
Just be like, all right, guys, congrats, mazel tov, break a plate, and then just bounce.
You never know. I might surprise you.
Yeah, do it. And so I'm not sure, Jane. Seth, you can maybe make it to either one.
Yeah.
You will be a both finally.
Yay.
Yay!
Speaking
All
of,
right.
do you have my credential?
I do. I do.
Wonderful.
So,
I'll text David.
yeah, you do that. You could possibly get Christina's because Christina doesn't have.
It just has the old
Yeah.
podcast name.
Has the name that we shall not use anymore on there.
I'll trade you a jacket for the credential.
You got it. Yeah.
You guys figure that out.
yeah.
I'm sure he would let you in even if you didn't have it, but that is an
Yeah.
option. And then Saturday, I can probably get you that one if I make it out there.
I still have last year's credential. I don't think it.
So they're turquoise this time,
Okay.
which is I love them. I think they look cool, but yeah, it's been yellow and black for the longest time. But yeah, so Seth sounds like he'll be there for both. I'll try to be there Saturday. Christina will try to be there tomorrow, and if she dips out of a wedding early, which I would for this match. Union Omaha was one that I had circled on the calendar as soon as the schedule came out that I wanted to go to. Monterey Bay on a Wednesday night honestly wasn't on my list of ones to go to at the beginning of the season.
Right?
And so,
Would have done good.
so that's probably why I'm not going to make it.
Battle for first on
right.
a Wednesday against Monterey.
Yeah, I mean, nobody saw that coming, but here we are. So yeah, if you're in the area, make sure you're going to that game. Make sure you're going to our first group match in the USL Jägermeister Cup, which is a mouthful, but fun to say. And yeah, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. We're getting closer to getting our Facebook back. It's been almost that 60 days. In fact, it might have been 60 days. I need to go and look. And so we might be on Facebook by this time next week. Keep your fingers crossed for that. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week. Go to both matches, and we'll be back to break them down. Same time, same time, same place next week. And until then, somos unidos.